name is Maya, and welcome to the episode 29 of the Tinks knitting podcast, where I share all my thought, process and other random stuff about all things fiber related, but mostly knitting. So today is the 2nd of August 2024. Yesterday was Switzerland's National Day, by the way, so happy birthday Switzerland, I guess. And I'm coming to you from the French-speaking part of Switzerland, where I live with my gecko. You can find me on Instagram as milahis.tinks, and you can find links of everything I talk about down in the description box below, as well as my measurements if you are interested. So today, two things. First, I woke up not too long ago. It's quite early in the morning, so I might be a little bit more tired than usual, we will see. And second, I need to go to a dentist appointment in an hour, so we'll probably have a cut in the video. We will see. Maybe I can finish before that. That's because, as some of you may know, if you watched the latest episode, I just got my wisdom teeth removed, and it's just a checkup appointment. And on the same subject, if you notice I have a bruise down here somewhere, I didn't get punched in the face. It's the surgery that did this. So yeah, don't overthink it. Anyway, so for the knitting, the program of today, I have two finished objects, one of which I'm wearing, and it was already finished in the latest episode. However, I changed something on it. And the second one, I cast on and finished yesterday. It was pretty fast. But yeah, it's a funny but very useful thing. And I have two works in progress. One is knitting and the other one is sewing. And I think that's it for today, so let's get into it. First, what I'm wearing, again. I can take my hair out of the way. And this is a self-drafted camisole, so I can show you. And it's knit in Knitting for Olive pure silk in the colorway Rhubarb Juice. Now that I'm wearing it, I'm pretty sure it doesn't suit me at all, but I needed to try to be sure. So yeah, doesn't look great on me, but I think the garment in itself is super nice. It doesn't flash when I lean forward. It has nice shaping on the front, and the back has just the straps connected to the straight part. And that's it. So I'm not gonna go too much. Wow, I'm super hot. Into details with it because it was already finished in the latest episode. But really quickly, so I knit it on 3mm needles. As I said, it's self-drafted, but it's kind of inspired. I mean, I had an idea, but then I found a pattern that looked like my idea. But the pattern is absolutely not size inclusive, and it's on DK weight, and I didn't like the finishings on it. It was pretty... not very much attention to detail. I didn't like it. It's linked below, but I just don't want to mention it because it's really not size inclusive, so yeah. So I just wanted to do my own thing. But the construction of mine is completely different, so it's really... there is no real common things in between the two garments. But anyway, so what I did is I cast on the stitches for the whole circumference. I did exactly... I swatched and I calculated how many stitches I needed to have a fitted part at the top. I think it was like 230 stitches. And I knit one row, then I did some short rows to shape the bust. I didn't do this with increases. When I had enough depth, I started knitting it around completely straight until I got down here. I'm gonna go back to the hem later. And then I picked up stitches all along the cast-on edge, and I did some shaping here. So I have increases, central increases here, and central decreases there for like 5 rows. And then I did 1 row of pearls. Then I switched to smaller needle, and I did the opposite, so decreases here, increases here, for 5 or 6 rows on the inside. Then I sewed down the live stitches, and then I picked up the straps and connected them to the back. And for the hem, I first did, I wanted to kind of mirror this, and I usually do, as I did here, knit few rows per one row, knit few rows on smaller needles and sew down. But for some reasons I wanted to change it up. I don't know why. So I did double knitting instead. So I cast on one stitch for every stitch on smaller needles, and then I knit double knitting for like 6 rows on smaller needles still. It was 2.5 I think millimeter needles. And then I did a sewn bind off, Italian bind off. And it looked nice, but it was kind of still flaring out a bit. And it was just because this fabric has so much drape that having a double thickness suddenly just changed the integrity, and I couldn't do anything about it. There was no point in going down needle sizes anymore. I couldn't have done anything about it. It was just the way the fabric behaves. So the double thickness hem was just not working for this particular fabric. And the sewn bind off was kind of flumpy, didn't look really nice. I was just not convinced, so I ended up ripping it back. Actually, taking out the sewn bind off wasn't this painful because this is silk, so it's still kind of slippery. So I actually did a reel because I think it's kind of satisfying to unravel a sewn bind off, because if you find the correct stitch and you use the correct tool, it's pretty easy actually to take out all the stitches one after the other. So yeah, if you're curious about some tips to do this, you can head over to my Instagram where I did a reel about that. So I cut off the tail I used to do the bind off because it was kind of destroyed. And I just picked up the stitches right before I started the double knitting, and then I just knit straight on the same needles I used for the body, which gave me twice the length of the double knitted edge, because I didn't have the double knitted anymore, so it was twice the length as before. And I did a nice landing bind off. So that's what I have here. I basically added like this much and the Icelandic bind off, and it's just what was missing to get a nice fit over pants of this height, because before it was like there, I don't know how to show it, and it was just a little bit too short. I mean, it was kind of an awkward length. I wasn't really happy with it. It was always like catching, you see, like this, and I just didn't like it. And the most important point was when I'm wearing super high-waisted pants, which happens most of the time, if I wanted to tuck the whole garment, the whole top in it, first the double knitted hem was too bulky and it was making too much bulkiness, basically. I didn't like it, and it was too short. It was always coming out, and with the bulkiness of the hem, it was just not looking great. So that's the main reason why I didn't want the double knitted anymore, and I wanted it a little bit longer. But you can't really see it there, so I'm gonna do a quick outfit change. Ta-da! So this is what I usually wear at the bottoms, which is super high. My belly button is now here. And you can see now it's tucked inside, it doesn't go anywhere. There is no added bulkiness because of the double knitted hem, and I have quite some length that's tucked inside. And it's just perfect like this. I'm just so much happier. And now I have the perfect garment. I'm so happy about this guy. Not about the color, but yeah, anyway, I just need to get a little bit more tan, I guess. So yeah, that's what this is looking like. Super happy. And I have a little bit of leftovers. This is my swatch. I used it to knit the I-cord straps, but it wasn't enough, so I mean it was too much, so I still have a little bit of the swatch. And this is what I have left of the second ball. This is 20 grams, so I used 80 grams. I could have used only one ball and cut it short here, which would have been kind of the same effect in the end. And I really enjoy super cropped stuff, so I definitely could have done that, but I just started the second ball thinking one wouldn't be enough, and then I tried it on when I just joined the second ball, and it was long enough, and I was like, oh no! I could have just stopped there. But yeah, since I had started the second ball, I was like, I'm just gonna knit it super long, I mean super long for me, so that I get the most out of the ball. So yeah, and I guess with the 20 grams I have left, I will do what I always do for summer silky drapey yarns, is that I will probably cast on a matching August Tynn's number 22, so that I have a cute bow, and 20 grams is perfect for that, so I will have a cute matching outfit, I guess. So that's it for this one. Now the second finished object is funny. So I had a logistic problem. I have my DPNs and my crochet hooks that are in very... they are stored in like very disgusting Ziploc bags, and it works, it's very practical, but it's ugly, and it was not easily accessible because they are in a box and they usually get to the bottom of the box quite quickly for some reason. And then I have to go inside the box to find the correct bag, and I always take out the crochet when I need the needles, and yeah, you see what I mean. And I just needed a better solution to store them. So I have seen quite a lot of really cute solutions on Instagram and Pinterest and everything, but they were all either very expensive to make or to buy or whatever, or taking up a lot of space, or not really practical in the end, or taking up too much effort to make. So yeah, I wanted something easy to do, practical to use, and that doesn't take too much space, and cheap. So I found the cheapest of them all in the end. I just had a genius idea at one time. I don't know what I was doing, probably nothing knitting related. But I had a lot of tea boxes, like the metallic cans that comes when you get tea that's not in the little bags, you know. I had a lot of them, and they are really beautiful and they are a nice size, and I was always keeping them, thinking I might do something with them one day, maybe. And I've been thinking about putting my needles and crochet hooks inside, but first I don't like the sound of plastic or metal that's tapping on metal. I hate it, so I didn't want to just shove all my things inside the metallic container, and I didn't want to have all the tools like hanging around like this inside the tin, because it's taking place outside and then you have to like browse through them to choose the one you want, and I just don't like that. I wanted something that would hold them straight and I could see just visually which one I want and just go there and take it. Pretty specific, I know. So I suddenly thought I could make a little cap thing to put on top of the container, and that would have a lot of holes so that I could poke each crochet or DPN inside like this, with something at the bottom that could hold it so that it doesn't slip around, so that I have all my instruments standing straight and separated by the position of the holes on the top of the cap thing, whatever. Anyway, let me show you what I did. So I had this, I wouldn't say yarn, but kind of thread laying around, and it's very elastic and it's black, and I had a lot of it, and I was like, that's perfect. So I did this. See? It's not really moving too much. Everything is separated. And it looks perfect! So let me explain what this is. I have another one that's not completely finished, so that I can show you what's happening. So this guy, this is the kind of yarn I'm talking about. This is Sweet Cocoon by Katia, and it's 100% plastic, and it's like a blown yarn. It has, oh, it's black, so it's going to struggle a bit to focus. Yeah, so it's kind of a chainette because it has like a tube, and there is again some polyamide or whatever inside it, but it's very elastic. It's just like an elastic thread, so if you ever want to make yourself like swimsuit or just stuff that's elastic, it's perfect. But the problem with it is that it has this kind of texture where if your hands are very dry and you have a bit of dead skin hanging around, if you touch it, you're basically gonna stay velcro to it. It has those kind of very super small threads or whatever of polyamide and nylon that are just catching on everything, and it's just a pain. Like really, when I take a ball, sometimes if my hands are really dry, I just can't put it off. It just stays stuck to my hand and I hate it, which is why this has been laying around in my stash for years, not knowing what to do with. So that's also why I decided to do crochet, because it uses up a lot more yarn than knitting and it goes faster, so win-win. I decided to use the most I could of this stuff, and also it's very elastic, so it's pretty useful for the use I want to make of it. So let me just take it off the can to show you. This is the tea pot I was talking about. This is Mariage Frère. So this is what the cap thing holder looks like. It's just basically a tube with an opening at the bottom. Wow, it's black. And on the top, for this one, I just did simple the double crochet. I don't know even which terms those are, but so that I could get small holes and I could stick even the biggest crochet inside it quite easily, and it just holds there. And for the other one, this one, because I wanted to put dip ends in it, I did bigger holes. I did some chain twos and then double crochet chain twos thingies, so that I would get bigger holes and put the dip end set inside. And I held the dip end using those are the kind of elastic you use in your hair, and I just cut one in small pieces and use it to hold everything together. I got this trick from Nimble Needles, I think, and it's just perfect. I'm super happy about it. And to prevent the tapping sound of plastic at the bottom of the metallic container, I did the most chaotic thing ever. After this I'm going to show you some sewing, because I'm working on the quilt, and actually I had some leftovers at the edges of the cushions I made, and they were like rectangular pieces. They were a little bit small, so I just sewed two of them together here, and then I cut circles, and then I sewed a piece of batting on the outside so that I could get a round shape with something coming up on the side here, so that I could place it at the bottom of this to protect the metal, and now I don't get the ugly metallic sound. And it's disgusting. But I mean, I had this laying around. I was about to throw it away, and it's hidden inside anyway. You can't see it because of the black covering, so who cares? So I'm pretty happy actually, because I used up leftovers that I was gonna do nothing with to do something super useful. So yeah, now I have, so I'm gonna put it on again. I didn't close it because I wanted to be able to show you the inside, but I'm just going to do one more row with decreases at the bottom so that it stays put, and I'm never going to take it off anyway, and if I need to take it off I can just unravel the end and just unravel the last row. So now it stays like this, and I can just put all my crochet hooks in it, and they stay put and they don't do any sound at the bottom, even if I go like this. I'm just so happy! This is so useful! This is perfect, and it was so quick to make. I think I made one in like 2 hours. So it was just perfect, and I used up a lot of yarn. I still have 2 balls left, but yeah, at least I don't have 3 anymore. So yeah, if you need a easy storage solution for your crochet hooks and dip ends, this is it. I just did a circle with a double crochet, and yeah, and then I started going straight for the edge, and then I did decreases at the bottom, and that's it. Super easy, super helpful, super perfect. So the next project is a work in progress, and I need a lot on that guy. It's mainly because, as I mentioned, I got my wisdom teeth removed last Friday, right after the latest episode, and I was struggling, but not for too long. But I mean, I was still kind of glued to my couch for 3 days straight, and yeah, I just wanted to knit. So, and knit on something super easy in the round, mindless, and this was just a perfect project. So let me show you. Which one is the front? It's this one. Ta-da! This is starting to become a dress. The waist is here, and yeah, it's like a triangular cup with very shallow cups. I got straps and then cinched in waist with this kind of I-cord belt or whatever, and then the skirt continues. And it's super lovely! Yay! I'm just so happy. Yeah, so I'm knitting this. First, it's a self-drafted design, so there are no pattern for this. And I'm using Tynn Line by Seamless Garn. I have used 3 balls until now, and I have 3 left, so one more than this. And this is the colorway 8561, and it's like a sage green, super lovely color, and it's slightly heathered. I really like the look of it. So, this dress, I have talked about it a lot because this is actually the 3rd time I'm trying to do this type of camisole. So let me explain where it's coming from. First, there is a bird hanging out there, and the last time a bird was sitting there, it tried to flew through my apartment to the other side, but the window was closed, so he basically threw himself on the window, and it scared me out so much, and I just hope he's not going to try again this time. So I'm kind of keeping an eye on him. Sorry if I get distracted. Okay, it's okay, he flew away. We're not gonna get a dead bird this time. So, it's the third time I'm trying out to do something like this. The first reason is because I have a camisole, a store-bought camisole that I absolutely love, that is shaped like this. It's actually a pretty similar color, by the way. And I just wanted to see if I could replicate it with knitting. So, I tried the first time, but I was playing yarn chicken and I couldn't get the same shape. But the garment is lovely and I'm still wearing it, but it's absolutely not the same shape. And the second time was something I showed in episode 27, I think, when I finished it. And it's knit in linen, it's gorgeous, it's lovely, and it's actually pretty close from the objective I had in mind. But there were still a few issues, like I wasn't happy with the placement of the straps, they were a little bit too much on the inside. And I had like a high-low hem effect because apparently for this type of garment I need bust darts. I don't usually need them, but sometimes I do, and in this case I needed them because the hem on the front was just this much higher than on the back for some reason. And I did increases only at the underarms, so I got a little trapezoidal shape, so the sides were hanging lower than the front, which didn't help with the high-low hem effect. And it looks nice, but it looks super cool and I really like it, but it's not what I was going for. So I just wanted to see if I could really achieve my objective. So I tried again by doing the dress. Mainly because it's a little bit dumb, but I knit super fast and I am finishing the summer camisoles so quickly. I mean, I finished this guy in like 10 days because I did the hem twice, otherwise it would have been like 5 days. And the one I tried in linen, I also finished it in less than 10 days. And I have no business finishing 10 summer garments each year, so I need to chill out on the finished objects, which is mainly why I'm doing the dress, so that it takes me a little bit more time. But as I mentioned, I was on the couch for 3 days knitting only on this, so it's actually almost finished. And yeah, it's gonna take me like 3 weeks, maybe less, so yeah. Anyway, doesn't matter, it's gonna be so glorious. So what I did to solve the issues I mentioned, first I did some bust darts on the front. I can maybe show you. You can see the short rows. So I did this to lower a little bit the front so that it would join in a flat circle around my waist. And I also did increases not only at the underarms, but also on the front and back. And you can maybe kind of tell, but no, you can't really. I use lifted increases, so they are pretty invisible. But let me explain. So usually you put, like, you decide to have 2 or 4 or whatever stitches between your increases. So you decide of your middle stitches and you place a stitch marker at each side, and then you increase outside of the stitch marker so that you always have the 2, let's say 2 stitches inside, and the markers always stay at the same place. But what I did here is I increased inside the markers so that they would get wider and wider, because I didn't want to have the increases always at the same spot, because otherwise I would have a weird shape basically, and I didn't want that. So what I did by increasing in the middle of the markers is that no, this is the middle of a round. I just lost some stitches and I lost a marker. Anyway, let me select another place. So here you can see my 2 markers, and they are pretty far apart. And when I started, this is the front. When I started, there were 4 stitches apart. You can maybe tell there is 1 increase here and 1 here. So they were pretty close, but as I went along the garment, they went further and further apart, and now they are, I think, 25 stitches apart. And it just helps prevent having 2 straight edges at each side, because each point where you increase gets a point, and then between the increases you get straight edges. I'm not sure if this makes sense, but whatever. And I think when I get to the bottom of the dress, I'm probably gonna have equal distance between the inside of the increases and the space between each increase. I think. So you can see here, this is the space between the increases now, and the underarm increase are like there somewhere. So I have this much between them and this much between those. So I just hope they will add up. I don't know. So I will probably try to do a little try on, but I need to pick up the stitches first. I'm way too hot. So this is what it looks like, and I had to keep the skirt underneath because it's absolutely not long enough to cover my butt. The skirt is coming up to here, and it's exactly the point where I wanted the waist of this guy to sit. So for now it's too long. As I said, the skirt is here and the waist of the dress is here, but I did that on purpose because I put this in so that I could close it like this and have this happening, which I absolutely love. It's exactly the same length as the one I was wearing before. As you can maybe guess, I really love this shape. And yeah, it's getting a little bit bulky because of the skirt underneath, but yeah, you can get the idea. Wow! I just did a steam block for the top, so it's pretty even. The bottom still needs a little bit of a block, but yeah, you can guess, you can get what I'm aiming for. I'm happy about the short rows I did because now I have the same amount of this happening at the front and on the back, and it looks great. And I did some calculations to have a fitted top so that I'm not flashing anyone. This is fitted to me, so it's just super easy to wear, absolutely perfect. Wow. I can't believe how nice this looks. Ta-da! So yeah, what I did for the cups is actually super complicated. On the first two I just did symmetrical. I mean, they are the same on the front and on the back, and they had the same shape on both sides, but as I said, I didn't like how they were sitting a little bit too much on the inside. They were like here, and I wasn't happy about it. So what I did this time is that I have different cups for the front and on the back, and I have different increase rates on each side. So it's actually pretty complicated, but I really like the way it looks, and I really love the very shallow cups. I don't like when it goes too high and then you have a little bit of a fold happening there. I just hate it. So yeah, I think this is absolutely perfect. At first I wanted to put an elastic, a simple elastic inside the knitting, but I decided to, what I did is on the inside, you can maybe tell, I actually sewed a little pocket thing. I just picked up stitches, knit in the round for like 6 rows, and then I sewed down I did knit 2 together with the live stitches of the garment, and then I continued straight with only 1 strand and 1 layer, and then I could insert this inside, this I-cord. And in the latest episode, I told you that I actually put the short rows on the back, and since the cups are different on the front and on the back, it was terrible, so I had to rip everything out and start over. And guess what? For this, I put the holes for the belt on the back again. And when I noticed it, I was like 5 centimeters into the skirt, so I didn't want it to rip out everything, so I had to lather down. But since I had done some yarn overs and stuff to make the openings, I actually have some very loose stitches because I couldn't just take out all the excess thread I had there because of all the stuff I did to have some holes. So yeah, I have some loose stitches happening on the back, and on the front also it didn't really work out to lather down and create new holes out of nowhere, so yeah, it looks very messy, but I mean it's hidden anyway, you cannot see it, so I don't really care. And on the back, same, you can't really tell. There is some weird stuff happening, so it's fine, but I was so annoyed with myself. I was like, I did the same mistake twice. Anyway, so that's it for this guy. So as I mentioned, I have 3 balls left. I used 3 to get to this length. I took a picture every time I finished the ball actually, it was pretty funny to see. So I think I will use 2 more. I'm aiming for like, let me go up onto the couch. I'm aiming for a length kind of similar to this, maybe a little bit less. And probably I will do a split hem at some point, and maybe some short rows to have a rounded edge at the bottom. I don't know. So I think 2 balls should be enough. The last ball I joined about here, so I could do this much. And since I'm doing increases, I can get less length with each ball. So I think the next ball will get me like there, and then there. Maybe I will need 3 balls, I don't know, but I have 3, so it's fine. But yeah, so that's where I am with this dress, and I knit furiously on it while I was stuck to the couch because of the swelling on my teeth, and it's almost done. And I'm super excited to have it. I hope I can finish before the super warm days are over here in Switzerland, but I should be good. We will see. So yeah, let me just change back into this. I have been kind of loosely calling the dress the Olympic dress, because yeah, the Olympics are taking place right now in Paris, which is not too far from me actually. And I have been watching a lot of them while knitting the dress, so it's kind of, that's why I've been calling it the Olympic dress in my head, but yeah. And it has kind of loosely, you know, the look of, I don't know, when you imagine like ancient Greek people wearing the, I have no idea how you call this in English, but wearing the white, very simple dresses like the goddess have in the temples and everything. It has kind of a similar shape like this, with the loose waist, very high, and then the dress that coming out with a lot of folds in the fabric, and yeah, I just kind of have this kind of vibe to me in my head, but it's just in my head, but anyway. Hi. Is it really a podcast episode if there is not an appearance of editing Maya? I don't think so. So, what I forgot to tell you is that I have a funny story for the dress and the wisdom teeth thing. When I was at the dentist, I was lying on a chair and the surgery was about to start. And I asked the dentist if I could knit during the operation. Because I can knit without looking, and I was knitting in around on the dress, so it was pretty easy knitting for me. And I had removed all the stitch markers so that I wouldn't have to mess with them when I can't look, obviously, because yeah. And the guy was like, oh, knitting, I mean, of course, but it's the first time in my life everyone has ever asked me that. He told me, like, he often get like, can I listen to music, can I listen to a podcast or whatever, but it's the first time someone asked if they could knit. And he was kind of surprised, but he didn't really know what to do with it, because he was like, but do you need to watch? Do I need to remove the thing that will be on your face so that you can lift up your knitting and see what you're gonna do? And I'm like, no, it's okay. I don't need to watch. I can knit in the cinema for 3 hours straight without watching. It's okay. I don't need to. I don't need anything. And he was like, all right, let's do this then. And I have 2 teeth removed, and when he finished the bottom one, he removed the paper thing I had on my face, and he was like, you sure you don't need to look at your knitting? No, it's okay. Yeah, it was funny. So that's all I wanted to say. I'll let you go back to the podcast. So let's get into the next work in progress, which is kind of irritating me because it should have been done, and I'm almost done. I think I have like 1 more hour of work on it, but I couldn't finish it before filming, so anyway, it is sewing and it looks like a mess. Basically, it's the quilt it's my first quilt ever, and the pattern is the Deco quilt by Lo and Behold Stitchery. And I had finished the quilt up, I think 2 years ago, even more than that, 2.5 years ago, but I was scared to do the actual quilting on it. So I did some practice pillows, I did 4, but it took me ages to actually do them. I used leftover fabrics for those. And once I was done with the pillows, I couldn't wrap my mind around the fact that I needed to take out this whole giant piece of fabric and fold it in a way that could go inside my machine. It was just difficult to imagine how I could do that. But yeah, I finally decided to bite the bullet and I did it. So I am doing the quilting. I'm just doing straight lines on perpendicular manner. And here it is. So it's obviously not going to fit in the frame. You know what? I'm gonna go behind. Ta-da! This is it. Up there. There you have everything. So it's almost done because I have this much left. You can see the last vertical lines stop here. Kind of. Yes, stop here. And then I just have like 10 more to go here. And then I'm done with the quilting, and then I just need to trim the edges and sew the binding, and then I'm done. But it's not done! It's just like 1 hour, maybe 1.5 hours maximum. But yeah, anyway, I did my best. Considering I need so much on the dress and I sewed so much for the quilting on this guy, I did a lot of stuff. But yeah, still, it's super annoying. I just wanted this to be done. But yeah, it's gonna be finished probably I don't know when, because I'm not here this weekend, but yeah. This is my first quilt, and it's really not perfect. I mean, this block looks fine. The points are really well aligned, and the quilting is actually not so bad. I think I did a good job. I think it's pretty neat. But there are definitely some parts that are absolutely not. And at some point I was just so tired. I really didn't like doing these blocks. So there are some of them that are kind of, yeah, not really well aligned, but I can't find them now. And there are one that was really terrible, but I can't find it, so I guess it's not that bad. I can't find it. But yeah, this is my first quilt. I'm super happy about it. I love the colors. I love pairing super weird colors together, but they still match well. That's my vibe. And my plan is to put it on the couch to protect the couch from my butt. And yeah, so that I have something matching my cushions. It's actually the opposite. I did the cushions to match the quilt, but it just happened reversed. But yeah, I'm super excited to finally have it done after 2 years. And the main reason that pushed me to finally pick it up and finish it is because I have been hyper-focusing on spinning. I've been wanting to spin for so long, and it's like obsessing me. I'm watching videos, I'm buying books, I just want to try spinning so bad. But I've been telling myself that I cannot start a new hobby until I finished at least one item from the last hobby I tried out. So I need to finish the quilting try before I can start trying spinning. Because otherwise I'm just going to have unfinished objects laying around everywhere and just be frustrated at myself, and we can't live with that. So that's the plan. So once I'm finished with this, I'm going to probably buy a wheel. Not a wheel, I mean an electric wheel, because I don't have the room for a whole big old wheel. But yeah, and probably try spinning at some point, I think. And the other thing I really want to try, I mean not try, but I want to cast on, knitting wise, and I've been obsessing over it for a while, is, my other obsession right now is getting rid of my knitted and stash, because I have too much unspun yarn and I just want to use it up. And I just finished knitting this whole gigantic colorwork blanket with knitted end, and I just need to piece it together. But piecing it is kind of a finishing touch, and I have a problem with finishing touches. I just don't want to do them, and I would be perfectly capable of just leaving it there and not touch it for a whole year and start the new blanket, because the new blanket would be knitting and it's much more interesting than sewing all the pieces together. But we can't have that. I need to finish the current blanket before I can start the next one. And I really need to be good about it, because yeah, it's literally on my TV. I'm not using my TV anyway, but yeah, I need to finish it. So yeah, that's the plan. And basically I have a lot of stuff like that I want to finish. Like the quilting I show you, I have this blanket. Yeah, I have a list of things. I want to lengthen the sleeves on a sweater, I need to do some surgery on another one, I need to lengthen the straps on another one and shorten the straps on a summer top. Yeah, I have a lot of small stuff I want to do, and I mentioned it already in the latest episode, but I think I will try to make a summer vlog series where I kind of do maybe one episode a day or one episode every 2 days, and each day I try to tackle something from my to-do list. And it's either knitting or crochet or sewing or even crafting. I've been wanting to do lampshades, because I still have the... I'm gonna take a picture to show you. I still have those guys hanging from when I moved in, and I just need to do something about it. So I've been wanting to knit lampshades and felt them. I thought it could be nice. I wanted to mention where I got the lampshades, knitted, felted lampshades idea from, because it's not an idea of mine. I discovered a podcast lately, which is Knitting with Eve. I really enjoyed what she makes, and she mentioned in her 10 summer knitting patterns video that she wanted to try this pattern, which is handmade knitted lamps something, I think, by a German designer, and she doesn't speak German and I can understand a little bit, so I think I can make the pattern. I mean, really, I think I can make a lampshade without any pattern, but I'm still going to buy it because she gave me the idea. But yeah, I don't think I actually need the instructions to do that. But anyway, so that's where the idea is coming from, and I really recommend her podcast, Knitting with Eve, because I like it, and I love her voice. I don't know, for some reason I find it so smooth and soothing and just soft, and I don't know, I just love her voice. And the content she makes, of course, but if you want to have to listen to something nice and soft, go there. Anyway. And I've been wanting, just to do a lot of stuff. I want to do carpets, I want to crochet, a carpet for my desk, because the floor is cold and then my feet get cold, and a lot of small stuff. So I think I will try, starting on Monday, to do like a summer knitting crafty series where I will tackle one project a day of something crafty, and we will see what I can manage to get done. So yeah, that's the plan. And I'm calling them vlog, but really I think it's just going to be a daily podcast. Because it's mainly going to be me talking to the camera, explaining what my plan for the day is, and I will maybe manage to get 2 shots of me doing the thing, and then it will be me talking again to the camera saying how I did the thing. So it will, yeah, I'm calling it summer vlog, but it's going to be summer daily podcast. So if you like podcasts and you want daily content, or maybe every 2 days or something, then stay tuned, and you can of course subscribe if you don't want to miss that. And if you are not interested in the daily content, I will probably do a normal podcast episodes on next weekend, I think. So yeah, stay tuned for that also if you don't want to see the daily me struggling to keep up with my incredible program. It's probably gonna be like the Olympic Games of knitting for me. Anyway, thank you again for the support. Thank you so much for every comment, every like, every share, every view. Thank you for sticking up with me until the end. And